before I give presentations, I'm often standing up against a wall with my back there, taking deep breaths. I did it a little bit before before I came up to the front. This kind of reminds me of this spotlight. In order to get over my fear of being a speaker, I actually went over to Cambridge Adult Ed and took acting classes, and then I slipped on a rock and took stand-up comedy. If you want to be terrified, try doing comedy. Acting is so much easier because it's somebody else's lines. And a typical Cambridge situation, out of 15 people, 8 of them were non-English native speakers. Can you imagine? I can't even fathom. It's hard enough for me to figure out how to act in English, much less try and do it. And at one point, I was in a scene with Hannah and her sisters, and I'm yelling at this sweet little Japanese girl who's playing my sister. And I said, this is just the play, and she couldn't quite figure out what was going on. And the guy's like, matter. You just have to let it rip. But part of what the whole thing is how can you play the role of being a professional person who goes into the room representing you, representing your company, representing, your industry or whatever it might be, and be that professional person. So you've got the situation here where, guess what? It's about 88% of you you're not energized. Does that make you say, yes, I can walk into the room and do this? Bill Clinton loves this stuff, but he's the exception versus the rule. He's a politician, and yet there's some very, very introvert politicians. John Kerry is one of them. John, for those of you who are old enough to remember Johnny Carson, absolutely an introvert. About 2 weeks ago, I had the amazing experience of seeing Letterman being taped. And the guest on his show was Dr. Phil. Oh, my Lord. And I would even argue that Dr. Phil is an introvert, because when he gets his role, he's totally in charge. Robin Williams is an introvert. A lot of these people are introverts because they have the job, they have the role, they have permission to take charge of that. But when it's uncertain and they walk into the uncertain, unscripted part, it's much more unnerving, and that's where the introverts kick in and they have a much harder problem. So part of it is kind of how can you feel really, really comfortable? So you have these neutral questions, you can start conversations and get things going. And in many cases, one of the things that I do is I actually do a little bit of the networking ahead of time. I look at the program. I see who's going to be speaking. I did this and looked at who were some of the speakers on the website. One person I know, and I have yet to do this because I'm too chicken, but they will actually call the keynote speaker and say, I see you're speaking tomorrow, Rebecca, at lunchtime. If you'd like for me to ask a question during the Q&A, I'm happy to do that. Now, the reason why it's actually, Rebecca's doing it and you think it's a cool idea, I'm too chicken. It's why I'm too chicken, I don't know. I just am. But part of the thing is, I can tell you is I have seen Gloria Larson, who's the president of Bentley, speak, no questions. I saw Robert Kraft last year speak, about 5 years ago, no questions. I saw it happen to Deepak Chopra. I can tell you when we're speakers, and hopefully you applaud at the end and then we go into Q&A, and there's no questions, it's a really bad moment. So part of it is if you can kick off that question, it's amazing. You right away can have a role. And to kind of go to your question, one of the things I try and do at every networking encounter is to be an employed networker. Now, I love handing out the name badges. I love it. 1, I get to know everybody's names. 2, I have a few minutes with you. 3, there's usually a table between you and me. And then you go away. And I can figure out who I want to talk to later on. And everyone sees me. So I try and do, I have a role right now. I'm a speaker. When you ask a question, you have a role. So find ways for you to have a role. And the more you can do it, the more it's going to be easier. And then when you have the blend of the props and things like this to make it a whole lot easier for you, it can make it a lot easier for you to start those conversations and get them going. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like for you to take your tags, and Rick is going to help out a little bit this, and we're going to try and have 2 or 3 of these neutral conversations. And just to kind of kick this off, you can use your tag, you can not use your tag, whatever is comfortable for you. But to meet 1 or 2 people that maybe you haven't yet had a chance to have a conversation with, we'll just do that to kind of kick it off before we get on to the rest of the program.
Show us again, how do you get to connect?
Did you, okay, you put it on.
I answered the question.
Great, put it on your neck. Okay, excellent. And then just point it at someone else. Like me, here, try, you'll do its thing.
Name in there? Okay. Oh, okay. You want to get your name in it? Let's see.
We don't have much to talk
We have 5 things that we answered differently.
That was the donut.
Yeah, Yeah, could well be. Yeah, that's right. That's what that gives you. And then whatever, you can talk about it. And then if later on you decide to exchange your card, you do the same thing, and you just hold the button down.
Hold the button down.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
that's all there is to it.
Cool.
All right,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
You know what? Why don't you put? Do you want to help her out?
Yeah, of course.
She got one of the unloaded ones.
Excellent. So you're in the right spot. About me, okay? Oh, wait, yeah. And then my profile. And then these are a bunch of questions. But if you want, I think I'd start with the ones that say PM, actress, beverages, coffee vendor. Okay? And you just click on it and you answer the question. And if you don't feel strongly, you just leave it blank. And then go to the next one. Okay?
And is there someplace to fill in name or anything?
Oh, you got this one. This one isn't you.
No.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead and do this, and then you can fill in your name if you want. I'll show you. Yeah, when you go back to, we'll just grab me when you've done that, and I'll show you where. It's under contact info. It's very easy. Little anti-hygiene. All right. You're not modeling well here.
I know.
There you go, like that.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah. And look at hers.
The blue flag.
There you go.
Find a friend. Okay. Hi, Diane. What is the orange and the green?
Okay, it means that one of you hasn't answered your questions. I'm guessing it's you.
Oh, we've answered our questions. Look it up.
All right.
Some of them we've got half.
There you go.
So what does that exactly mean?
So that means you answered 4 questions differently. That's the 4 reds,
Okay.
and 3 the same. So it's harmonious, a balance.
Okay.
All right?
That's a good way to
All right. All right. Hey. How's it going? It's good? What's that? Please, yes. All right. Did you answer your questions? Okay, let's see what we have here. Oh, look at that. There's 4 red lights and 1 green. So we're
Not bad.
opposites. What's that?
I'm looking to find who can I speak next.
Yes. How about this person right here? Just like that. There you go. Perfect. And then you wait for a second. Oh, no. Someone hasn't answered their questions. I'm guessing it's you. All right. Sorry to draw you in
No
here.
worries, no worries. It's very interesting. So I was actually going to ask you, when you're up there and have the mic, if you can stay just a little more stage.
Yes, of course.
But we were good because there's one of these lights right below.
Okay. I'll stay stage right. I take direction.
That's what Diane. You guys can hear the questions, but because you guys are doing it interactive, there's only one mic. I'm going to ask the audience, you guys to repeat the audience
Sure,
question.
sure.
That's it.
Gotcha.
Great.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. No problem.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Now this is the fun part where everybody gets talking and then you try and get them to stop.
Balanced. Harmonious. 4 green lights?
Oh, that's what it was. Those are the answers.
Yes. 4 greens.
Okay.
Yes.
If you want to just grab a seat, I can see people are swapping tags, swapping cards. This is good. You're doing all kinds of networking.
Yeah. Oh, is that good squawk?
All right, a couple different things I want to address
I think that one might be
that
from the
came up
past. We'll
when
see
I
if we
was
come up with
walking
another one.
around, and I also just kind of want, because of the panel before, where there was some talk about men and women and some of the differences. I find a couple about, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, I started a nonprofit, and we got a nice grant, and this got in the news, and then all of a sudden I had all kinds of financial planners calling me. And at one point I sat down for coffee with 2 people, a man and a woman, and she wanted to know why I had started the nonprofit, and he wanted to know when I was going to make up my mind what firm I was going to give the money to. And that kind of said it right then and there to me. In many cases, men are much more comfortable going in there and asking a specific question. For women, it feels direct, it feels a little bit brusque, it feels a little